Jafora Fox, let's talk business. And let's turn it up a notch. It's your time to shine with Jafora Fox. It's all coming together. Just keep your eyes on God and tune in. And let's talk with Jafora Fox. Hey, Jafora Fox. Jafora Fox.
Hello, and God bless you. God bless you, and thank you so much for being a part of the Jafora Fox Show. Let's talk business. I am your host, Jafora Fox, and I am so excited, as I am every Thursday. I'm excited. Every Thursday, I'm here at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So every Thursday, mark your calendar so that you can make sure that you are a part of the Jafora Fox Show. Have some amazing information each week to provide. It's free information for you to help you along in your business, whether you are an entrepreneur now or you desire to be an entrepreneur. So happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. God bless you. God bless you. And let me know that you're here. Say hello. Put hello in the comments. Put hello in the comments. Say hello and let me know that you are here. Good evening. Happy Thursday to you, Evelyn. God bless you. And thank you so much for joining in every Thursday for the Jafora Fox Show. If you would like to schedule a free consultation, you can go to my website. The information is listed there, www.jaforafox.com, and you can schedule. It's a free consultation. And then calling all entrepreneurs. If you would like to be a guest on the Jafora Fox Show, you can go to my website, click on that link, be a guest, complete the registration form, and I will be in contact with you. If you have questions about being a guest as well, you can complete that information and I will contact you also. So calling all entrepreneurs, it is free to be a guest on the Jafora Fox Show. I love to spotlight entrepreneurs, and I am always so honored and excited to have you, the entrepreneur, as a guest on the Jafora Fox Show. And if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, that is Jafora Fox Show. You want to click on that red subscribe button and then click the bell so that you can receive the notifications from YouTube letting you know that the Jafora Fox Show is on. And so finally, one of the greatest action items that you can do is share. So tonight, thank you so much for sharing, because as I always say, sharing is caring. So please share the Facebook Live, tag others, like, love, and definitely put shared in the comments, because at the end of the show, I want to put your name in the Wheel of Names so that you can receive a gift for sharing if you are selected from the Wheel of Names. So put shared in the comments. And again, in advance, thank you so much for sharing, because sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And if you would like to ask a question, you can put your comment in the comments. Or you can, if you would like to come on live and ask your question, that is the information for you to connect and click to be on live to ask your question. So you can come on live and ask me a question, ask Dr. Pam a question as well. So that is the information. And you can also put your question or comment in the comment section. So I love the engagement. So engage. Say hello. When the information is provided, if you would like to comment, please do so. And so thank you again on tonight to my Facebook Live audience. as well as YouTube and Live Manna Worldwide Network. So God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I am so excited. God is absolutely amazing. And you know what a mighty God we serve. And so we have so many amazing things going on even for us, you know, on today with Juneteenth being signed, the bill. And so we're just excited about everything and that, you know, how we're moving forward. It's always a start and we want to move forward. So let's see the comments and see who's here. If someone has said hello, 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 God bless you. And make sure, if you would please, share, tag, and like. So share, tag, and like. So God bless you. God bless you. And at this time, I'm going to bring in the guest for tonight, Reverend Dr. Pamela Fox, PhD, Dr. Fox as well. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. And thank you so much for being a part of the Jafora Fox Show, Reverend Dr. Pamela Fox. So God bless you.
Good evening. Good to see you, Jafora, my cousin. We are family.
Yes. I'm sure you all probably noticed with the Fox, you know, so definitely my cousin is so honored and excited to have you as a guest on tonight for with the Jafora Fox Show. And so I'm going to just do some engagement and see who's here joining us on tonight. If you have any other comments in the comment section, say hello and let us know that you're here. Let us know that you are here joining us on tonight. So God bless you. God bless you. And don't forget to like, share, and tag others in the Facebook Live. And I'm going to, as I always do, provide some information for you all on tonight. And the first topic for tonight is follow your passion and purpose. You want to follow your passion and purpose. It's nothing like pursuing and doing your passion and the purpose that God has called for you. And one of my favorite scriptures being Jeremiah 29:11, because God knows, he knows the plans. He knows everything. He wants to prosper us and not to harm us. And he knows our future. And so you want to, as an entrepreneur, making sure that you're following your passion as an entrepreneur and your purpose. Giving back is nothing like, you know, waking up every day knowing that you are operating in your purpose. And if you want to and have a desire to become an entrepreneur, you know, pursue after your passion and your purpose. And we all have something that makes us come alive and gives our lives meaning. So don't forget to listen to that part of you that drives you and be aware of those little things that distract you. So you want to focus on your purpose, because dreams never really go away. They simply get postponed. And so you no longer want to postpone, you know, the passion and the purpose that God has set and put inside of you. Your passions can be as little or as big as they are. And we can have one or a multitude of them. So listen to the things that are ticking at your heart. You know, that heart's door that you have, and find a way to do one thing at a time if you can. And you can encourage yourself to do it all and find a way for life to support you while you do. And so you want to encourage yourself. You should be the first partaker of encouraging yourself and not looking at others to always encourage you and push you. You know, you be that driving force for yourself. And everything in our lives start with you. So know that it starts with you, and it will ripple into your relationships. So it only makes sense to give yourself as much love. You give yourself as much love, nurturing, and joy that you would look for in others, or that others would seek in you. So by living the best life, and Dr. Pam going to talk about that best life on tonight, you can inject, you know, you can bring those ripples into your heart, into your mind, that love, that beauty, that kindness, and all of the amazing things that you have in following your passion and your purpose. So Follow your passion and purpose. So don't forget about that. That's so important as an entrepreneur, to know that it's not just about the business side of it. It's about the mental side of it, your spiritual side, and the mind as well. And so for tonight, you all, as I said before, I am so excited to have and honored to have Reverend Dr. Pamela Fox and from Certegy Counseling and Coaching, Firefox Outreach Ministries, and Dr. Pam's training and experiences enables her to offer effective, personalized behavioral health counseling and psychotherapy, and also life, health, and wellness, relationship, and financial coaching. She endeavors to provide a supportive, healing, and helping environment with individuals, families, couples, and groups. So Dr. Pam is amazing. She's doing some amazing things. And so looking forward to hearing from you, Dr. Pam. So again, God bless you. God bless you, Dr. Pam.
Again, to be here with you and your audience this evening, Jafora. And I am just so excited to be here. And I'm empowered by what you have just opened up with in terms of following your passion and purpose. That is so right on. Following your passion and your purpose. Sometimes we don't live our best lives, our blessed lives, because we underestimate the impacts of following our passion and purpose. And I tell my clients, we're on the clock. We're on the clock. We're like a can of corn, which has an expiration date. And so we ain't going to be here forever. So while the time we're here on planet Earth, we are called to be a blessing. And so just like you've shared that we need to follow our passion and our purpose and really show up and show out and let God show up and show out in us and follow having our steps ordered in the Word of God. Amen.
Yes, awesome. Tell us about yourself.
I would say in terms of introduction to the audience that who I am is that I am, as Jafora has already mentioned, Reverend Dr. Pamela Fox, and I am a social work practitioner, educator, and researcher. I have a PhD in social work. I have a master's in clinical social work. I have a master's degree in divinity. I have a bachelor's degree in social work. So I'm really a social worker, and then midstream in my career called to be a minister, because of the work I was doing many years ago, working in an AIDS service organization, feeling that I needed more in terms of my repertoire of gift, skills, and talents, and went to seminary. And I am currently the full-time owner, organizer, and clinical director of the Synergy Counseling and Coaching Center and Foxfire Outreach Ministries in Arlington, Texas. I have retired many times over the course of my career. Recently retired from the University of Texas at Arlington School of Social Work, where I was the assistant professor in practice, working with graduate social work students. I've retired from healthcare, and lastly, in terms of retiring from Baylor Scott & White Health in Dallas, working in the community. Also, I've retired from the United Church of Christ as ordained minister. And lastly, I have retired from the U.S. Navy Reserves, where I was in the Medical Service Corps as a Navy social worker. So I've retired, and I'm tired and need a nap. I'm weary, but God is still holding me up and having me to keep on keeping on, one day at a time. In terms of family, I am married with children and grandchildren. Children are adults, and they're scattered all over the country doing wonderful things. My husband, Mr. Kevin Fox, is a true man of the community, is a community health worker instructor, and he's taking care of tremendous business in trying to help people who have mental health and substance abuse issues. Love my husband dearly. We're coming up on an anniversary in just a few days, next Tuesday. I am a native Chicagoan, South Side Chicago, and our family has been here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area since 2006, and we're having a great time. I was sharing with my colleagues earlier today. Today's temperature is 97, and I think we're in the throes of summer right now, so that's what's happening right now. And in terms of things I like to do for fun, hobbies and interests, Mr. Fox will tell you I watch way too much TV news. But that's kind of like what I do for a hobby. I also enjoy watching movies, and I'm very actively involved in the social justice ministry at my home church, Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, where our senior pastor is the Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III. And so really about that business of serving the community in some wonderful ways. So that's a little bit about me and some of my background.
And definitely an amazing background that you have, Reverend Dr. Pam. Just so awesome, so encouraging, so powerful, because as I said, you are definitely operating and walking in your purpose and your passion, and all of the things that you are doing and how you're making such an impact and making a difference in the lives of others. And so with your business, Synergy Counseling and Coaching Center, what are some of the services that you offer?
Well, Synergy and Counseling here in Texas has been around since 2017, but it actually goes back to my time in Chicago, back to roughly 2001. But here in Dallas and in the Dallas area, since 2017, actually in Arlington, my business is I'm a solopreneur, meaning I'm a solo entrepreneur. My practice is fee-for-service psychotherapy and counseling and life coaching. I am a professional liability corporation, so I had to establish that once I got here. I'm an African-American woman-owned business and doing business as the Synergy Counseling and Coaching Center. What we provide, as I mentioned, is counseling and psychotherapy. My tagline, if you will, is helping people to help themselves in terms of the counseling and psychotherapy. And for my coaching business, my tagline is inspiring you to reach your full potential. With psychotherapy, as you may know, it has to do with health promotion and healing. And with the coaching aspect of my business, it has to do with providing help, being helpful. And with the coaching business, the areas that I'm focused on there is transformational life coaching, health and wellness coaching, relationship coaching, spiritual life and discipleship coaching. And the new addition to that aspect of my business is financial coaching. With the transformative life coaching, it has to do with what I call soul care, personal and professional development focus in that area. With the health and wellness coaching, my focus there is on type 2 diabetes. As you know, type 2 diabetes is rampant in our community, in the African-American community and communities of color. Some years ago, 2019, I was myself diabetes educator for 7 years. I myself was diagnosed with pre-diabetes. So I got busy losing weight and changing my lifestyle, implementing what I call mindful eating. And so I turned that around in about a year's time, but I had to be very diligent about that in terms of low salt and being mindful of what I'm eating and what I'm drinking, soda and all that. So I had to get rid of that stuff. And then the discipleship and spiritual life coaching is focused on development in terms of looking at the Word of God, looking at our relationships with others, looking at our relationships in our faith communities. And with the financial coaching, the emphasis there is being debt-free, as we can work on that as best we can, and wealth building and focusing on legacy. But just shifting gears to the psychotherapy and counseling part, what I know and what I do is I work with individuals 18 years and older, and also with couples and with families and with groups. Since the pandemic, haven't been doing a whole lot of work with groups and families, but mostly with the individuals and couples with a cognitive behavioral therapy approach, looking at mental health, behavioral health issues, also implementing solution-oriented brief therapy with a trauma-informed focus as well. And also I've been trained in, you're hearing lately, because of Prince Harry and others, about EMDR for trauma-informed care, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. So I've been trained in that and bring that on board to with my clients. And also the issues that some of my clients bring to the forefront is depression, anxiety, stress, isolation, loneliness, complex trauma and stress, grief and loss, couples conflict, and premarital counseling. So those are some of the areas that I've been focused on in my practice.
Again, just amazing. I mean, you're doing some amazing things and just really, really helping others to live their life and that is been intended, that the purpose that God has for them. And we have to go through and work through all of those things that you've mentioned to create that healing for our heart, mind, and soul. And so, yes, hello, Deacon Fox. Yes, thank you for your support and being here, Deacon Fox. Love you. As Evelyn has said, you're amazing. So you are doing some amazing things that is absolutely needed in this time, in talking about it in the African American community, which and it has been a taboo, and really taking out that time to help yourself or to seek help from others, professionals, as yourself, and life coaching and things like that, and all of the services that you do offer is definitely needed. And definitely I encourage my audience and each and every one of you on tonight to connect with Dr. Pam if you're having some issues and some things that you just want to talk about and communicate about, to do that, so that you can do what my next thing is, and for you to talk about is, what does it mean living your blessed life?
What it means, as I have come to understand living your blessed life, and actually that came from a year or so ago. I had a brief radio show, and I needed to come up with a title for the radio show. And what the Holy Spirit gave to me was living your blessed life. We've heard in the media about living your best life, which is a good thing. But living your blessed life is so important in terms of putting our relationship with the Lord first. And so I was able to speak on those things on the radio show that I had. And for me, I define living your blessed life as striving towards excellence, about continuous quality improvement in ourselves, in our relationships, in our community, and with the larger aspects of our lives. It also has to do with, I think, working on holistic health and wellness, which I define, which is what synergy is about, interconnections of the body, soul, and spirit, with our spirit person being our leadoff person. Our spirit person is being higher power connected, that higher power connection. But the other aspects of that holistic aspect is our body. That's our physicality. What people have been missing over the course of the pandemic is skin contact, meaning being in touch with other humans, which causes issues in loneliness, isolation, depression, anxiety, and stress, and what have you, because we miss being in contact with other people. And we need to work on keeping our body in good working order, because it's the only body we have. And then the other aspect in terms of this holistic approach is our soul, which I define as our mind, our will, and our emotions. So as we think about body, soul, spirit, mind, will, emotions, and those interconnections, if one part of us is not right, the other part's not going to be right. Spiritual part's not right, body and soul probably not going to be right. Soul not right, the other aspects are not going to be right. So everything has to be in alignment. So we need to be intentional in terms of thinking about that. But the other aspects I would say, which are included in living your blessed life, has to do with, again, I mentioned about the physical, that self-care for the body, the intellectual, which we should be lifelong learners. That's good for our brain development. That helps to decrease dementia. Keep reading books, y'all. Books are important, and other things that we do to keep the brain going. The emotional health in terms of dealing with our feelings, our stress, feelings and emotions. We ain't gonna never get rid of stress throughout the course of our life. Life is stressful in and of itself. We have to see, how do we provide some balance in our life? The social aspects in terms of that social connection that I mentioned about seeing somebody, being able, one day we're gonna be able to hug our loved ones like we used to back a year and a half ago. And with that social part, empathy, very important. Having a heart for people. And emotional intelligence, very important in terms of that emotional part and the social part. But the spiritual part, which is really my primary area of focus, respecting people's values and their beliefs, having some sense of acceptance for people, beginning where people are, trying to deal with people where they're at. That sense of that inner self, getting to know who that inner person is, and also connecting up with a faith community. That vocational and occupational aspect. I'm a business owner, and I've been a working person for a long time, most of my career. Being a business owner is a little scary, but working can be a little scary too sometimes, depending on where you're working, if there's not good harmony in the workplace. So that work-life balance is key. And that financial part, which is that financial coaching that I do, that's another part of who we are. That money management. How do you do that? We're not really taught that in school. And nowadays, who writes checks? Everything is debit or credit. Or sometimes we don't even have to have that anymore. So we need to know about that money management and wealth building, acquiring land, saving money for a rainy day, that kind of thing. And then the other aspect of that is environmental. How do we live in harmony with nature and our surroundings? I think the totality of all of that speaks to living our blessed life.
I definitely agree with all of that. Truly my passions as well. We have a lot of really ditto the same passions of things that we are continuing to endeavor to do, which is absolutely, amazing. In the way you have expound on, what that is in living your blessed life. And I know, as you said, they said the best life, but definitely, as a comment has been made, so true that you say it all the time about just having that's the only body that we have. And we definitely must take care of it, which, as you have mentioned, being that mind, that body, your soul, and all of those things. And one of my things I love is the financial literacy part of that. Even as a business owner, you have to know how to manage your finances. And if you don't manage well personally, you definitely won't manage well in your business. They go hand in hand. And so that's why I try to bring some of those things every Thursday to the audience about, managing money, your mindset, because a lot of times people just think business, having an LLC or incorporating your business, and all of those things are important as a business owner, but you do need that other picture. You need the financial coaching, the financial literacy part of that. You need that mental health part of that, because as you said, it can be difficult. The race is not given to the swift. You got to make sure, which I'll be talking about next, is that you keep pressing, that you don't allow things that come your way, distractions and obstacles, to make you give up and not continue in pursuing your passion, and your purpose. And in talking about your ministry that you have, the Foxfire Outreach Ministry, what exactly do you all do in and with the Foxfire Outreach Ministries?
Very good. With Foxfire actually goes back to 2001 too. I had some family members and extended family members who were not attending church. So I said, well, if we have church at our house, maybe they'll come. And so that's what we did, what Kevin and I and the family did, that we, based on my life application scripture, which is Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and through the workings of the Holy Spirit, I felt that I was called to establish a home church, which we did there on the south side of Chicago, where we could go forward to glorify God and serve God's people, not only our family, immediate family, my sister, my mother, and others came, but also some of the good kids who were unchurched. They came to the house. We met in the basement, and eventually we wound up renting space at a local hotel in Hyde Park in Chicago. But it began as a house church, a home church, Bible teaching, preaching, Bible study, ministry, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and kept growing. And we remodeled the basement, so we had extra room for extra congregation members and so forth. And we did that until 2006, when we relocated to Texas. And so here in Texas, what we've done, we're not doing the home church anymore. But what I'm doing is that I'm incorporating that spiritual discipleship coaching as the new aspect of Foxfire Outreach Ministries, along with the health and wellness coaching focusing on healthy lifestyles and healthy well-being, with a particular emphasis on diabetes prevention and diabetes care, but also looking at how do you build disciples? How do you empower the people of God? How do you help them to help other people? Because some people in the church are burned out. As they say that, like 10% of the people in the church are doing all the work, and the other 90%, they support and financially, and they're coming to church, Now we haven't had church in a year and a half. Most churches, they're just now opening. So that's been a real challenge for the church too. So the willing workers need to be supported. So I support the willing workers, and I am a willing worker in terms of doing the church work. So that's what Foxfire is doing right now, in terms of the coaching aspect, in terms of the educational aspect. So that's what Foxfire is focusing on right now.
Absolutely amazing as you talk about the 10% of the workers in the church. And here Grammy talks about, she remembered the home church services. So yes, but just within the church itself, having the willing workers, and how do you have others be willing to want to work in the church and in the ministry, giving those gifts and things that they have for the kingdom, and so that we can begin to be kingdom minded. So I think that is absolutely amazing to include and have that a part of what you're doing as the Foxfire, outreach ministries. And one other question is, you talk about, and I saw where you had inspiring you to reach your full potential through health and wellness and spiritual life coaching. And so how do you help someone to be able to start on their journey of reaching their full potential?
I think for both of those aspects, the health and wellness coaching and also for the spiritual life discipleship coaching, it first necessitated, because I am one, as you've already mentioned, who has following my purpose and my passion. And following your purpose and your passion sometimes requires you get some more education. So I had to take some classes to find out more, and I've been through formal education big time, but I needed to know more specifically about health and wellness coaching and spiritual life and discipleship coaching. So I took some classes, so I'm credentialed and certified in that. With the spiritual life coaching and discipleship aspect, I took a course called Coaching for Clergy, and it provided me with the knowledge about having a coach approach to doing the work of the ministry. So it's just not like, and it's important to be friendly with people and befriend people and what have you, but sometimes people need a motivator, need an encourager, need a mentor. And in part, that's what the coach in the church provides to those who are interested in doing that kind of work. And so I worked on that aspect, still working on that aspect in terms of delivering that to the community, but also the health and wellness piece, that focusing on lifestyle change, focusing on health and wellness, focusing on sustainable, healthy lifestyles, focusing on disease prevention and fostering well-being, again, with that emphasis on type 2 diabetes, since it's so prevalent in our community. But the other part that I would add to this aspect, and it's also true in other aspects of life, what they talk about, the 7 self-care behaviors. The 7 self-care behaviors are healthy eating, being active, taking medication as prescribed, monitoring your blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol, and some other stuff. Problem solving, that's figuring stuff out. Healthy coping, that's stress management. If you're not coping well and you're on stress overload, the chemical in your body called cortisol, which is a stress hormone, will increase, and it'll make you literally sick because it impacts the organs in your body. So that healthy coping is really very important. And then risk reduction, reducing your risks to complications from other aspects of disease. But the other part I would add to the spiritual life coaching, you'll be interested in this, Jafora, and audience, that what is, and I've come to find this is true as a marriage and family therapist, that people are dealing with the dysfunctional family rules, but just the dysfunctional rules in general, because it affects individuals, families, churches, organizations, communities, et cetera, et cetera. The dysfunctional family rules, I didn't make this up, but I got it from another researcher. The dysfunctional family rules can be on the scale of mild, moderate, or severe. Rule number 1 is that you don't trust other people. Rule number 2 is that you don't talk openly and honestly about what's really going on with you. Rule number 3 is that you don't express your feelings. You kind of keep your feelings in your pocket, keep it to yourself, which is unhealthy. Number 4 is you project blame. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. You forget the thumb points back at you. So while you're trying to call other people out, you need to be calling yourself out. You displace anger. So anger is all over the place. Either direct anger, irritation, or enragement, or it can go passive aggressive, like what sometimes happens in the workplace or in the church. Then the other item, number 6 on this list of dysfunctional behaviors, is scapegoating others. So people get cast out of the community. If you remember from the Old Testament, the nation of Israel literally had a goat, which took upon the sins of the nation. But the goat had to be cast out of the community to literally and symbolically take the sins out of the community. And so what happens sometimes in families is that somebody in the family gets identified as the problem child or the problem person in the family, and they get scapegoated. They get ostracized, they get cast out. Now, the reality for the scapegoated individual, and this tends to be a rotating role in the family, is that that person tends to be the truth teller. And so the consequence, the penalty for being a truth teller is you get put out of the community. And sometimes a truth teller gets so discouraged and so upset that they may do stuff that's not okay. Example, self-medicating with drugs and alcohol. So now the cast out person now has a drug or alcohol problem, so they get cast out some more, which causes an exacerbation of their behavior. So that can be a problem. And then the last item on the list of dysfunctional behaviors is keeping secrets. You may have heard old school saying of keep your family business within the family. You don't tell stuff outside the family. And so we wind up being as sick as our secrets. So we need to be mindful, if this makes sense, we have to be mindful about being more trusting, being more verbal and talking about what's really going on with us, being able to express our feelings honestly, openly, and with a willingness to change, to stop projecting blame, take ownership for your own behavior, stop displacing anger all over the place, because anger is indicative of extreme frustration and injustice. So identify what the stuff is that you're frustrated about or feel a sense of injustice. Scapegoating others, don't be doing that. We need more community, not casting folk out, especially family members. And then maintaining family secrets, you got to tell somebody. Because again, we're just as sick as our secrets. So in order to do better, when you know better, Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. So we got to do better as a people, as individuals, as families, as communities of color, and as church people, and as workers and co-workers and colleagues and business owners. We got to do better.
Absolutely amazing. I totally agree with you 100% on all of the information that you have just shared, provided to us. We have to do better, and we want to strive to do better and be better. You know, that should always be one's goal, to be able to do that. So I'm going to take some time to say hello to some of the audience that have come in. Good evening, Stephanie. God bless you. God bless you. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Hello, Auntie Emma and Uncle Percy. Bless you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in on tonight. God bless you. And I would ask that if you all would please share, because I say all the time that sharing is caring, sharing is caring. And when you do share, if you would put share it in the comments, so at the end of the show that your name will be put in the wheel of names for the drawing at the end of the show. So sharing is caring, and you want to be able to provide this information that Reverend Dr. Pam is talking about on tonight with others. You know, because we should definitely want to be in a place where we're helping to build each other. And that's what sharing does. It helps that someone else will be able to hear this information. All of this valuable information that you are receiving, when you share it, it allows the other person that's on your timeline, another family member, another friend, you know, someone else to be able to receive the information. And with that, and I do, as always, thank you all so much for sharing, because it does help with promoting the entrepreneurs. And the idea is to spotlight entrepreneurship, and so that the entrepreneur can be spotlighted. And if any of you at the end of the show, you'll see Reverend Dr. Pam's information and would like to get in contact with her to find out about more information on the things that she's discussed and the services that she provides, I just do highly recommend that you do that. And so with the next outline that I want to provide is called Never Give Up. You know, in entrepreneurship, as I talked about before, it is not easy. And, you know, some days it's good and some days it may not be good. But even in that time, you know, it's don't give up on what it is that you're trying to do. Keep pressing at it. You know, one thing about anything that you put the work into, you know, I can promise you, if you put the work in, that you're going to eventually get something out. That's why I love, you know, when the weather is good, you can go outside and plant flowers and gardening and all those things. You know, when you plant something, and then you have to continue to till it, you have to water it, you have to, you know, feed it, you have to do things to help make it, to nourish it so that it can grow. And when you don't see the first sign of whatever it is that you're doing, that it's not flourishing, it didn't grow, don't give up. You know, don't be that person to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. That didn't work. You have to keep at it. And there's a difference between success and failure. Comes from persistence. You have to be persistent in what you're doing, and the will to keep fighting for your dreams. Keep fighting for your dreams. Keep fighting for yourself. Keep fighting for the things that God has put into your heart and mind for you to do. And these never give up quotes will remind you that if it's worth it, you'll eventually find a way. And so it's definitely worth it to be into your purpose and your passion. And so you want to start to shift your focus on things that are going right in your life, things that are going right in your business, and pay attention to the person looking back in the mirror. And so, of course, that's you yourself. He or she, you know, you have your own unique attributes. No matter what it is that you're doing, even if someone else is doing the same things that you're doing, even if someone else has the same passions that you have, you know, one person, two people cannot service the billions of people in this world. But the other part of that is that God has placed you on assignment for those particular people. And so don't get discouraged if someone else is doing what you're doing and say, oh, I won't do that because somebody else is doing it. You know, if you know the person, glean from them, network, connect with someone who is doing what you would like to do or that you are doing. And then one of the things is to let go of that inner perfectionist. Oh my gosh, that would be me, inner perfectionist. And start to appreciate, you know, your smile, your talents, and what it is that you definitely have to offer. You know, and making sure that sometimes things don't have to always be exactly the way you want them to be. And it definitely takes time to be able to strive to be in that place. And so you want to start to see your value. You're valuable. Know that, as I talked about last week, value yourself, value what it is that you're doing. And that's one of the easiest ways for you to shift your focus to the right place. So value what it is that you're doing, and whatever you do in life, whatever it is, don't give up. Never, ever give up on what it is that you are doing. And so I'm going to take some time to see some other comments and others that may have shared. And please take the time to share. And again, hello, Stephanie. Hello. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing. I appreciate that. Sharing is caring. Self-love, definitely. We have to do that self-love. You know, in times past, it was said, you know, if you are taking care of yourself, you're being selfish. But I totally disagree with that. And I'm thankful that, you know, some of the things that have been said before, we have to deprogram our thoughts in what has been told to us before, especially as in self-love. If you don't take care of yourself, you really can't be the best you need to be for, you know, others. And another thing, we talk about finances, you know, it's like money does not grow on trees. And one of the other things is they said sticks and stones won't break your bones, you know, words will never hurt. We all know, if you don't know by now, that is so not true, that words do hurt. And so we want to be careful. We want to be mindful. And we want to, as Reverend Dr. Pam has talked about, living your best life and putting those things into practice. And so I wanted to ask you, Reverend Dr. Pam, what is psychotherapy? Because I know a lot of times people know about counseling and they know about the coaching and things like that. So if you could expound on psychotherapy and the difference what that is with counseling, as well as when should someone consider psychotherapy?
All right. I thank you for that question, Jafora. The difference, my understanding of the difference between psychotherapy and counseling is that psychotherapy is generally provided by a licensed professional, a person who is licensed in their state. And that person could be a clinical social worker like me, could be a psychiatrist, psychologist, a licensed professional counselor, a mental health nurse, a licensed marriage and family therapist. But it tends to be, or it definitely should be, I should say, correct myself, a licensed professional person who's licensed in the state where they practice. I'm licensed in the state of Texas. I was licensed in the state of Illinois when I was in Illinois. But psychotherapy has to do with healing. It's about health promotion and healing. It has to do with the in-depth treatment, evidence-based, research-based treatment, psychological treatment of a person who has a mental or behavioral health disorder. Our cookbook, if you will, for mental and behavioral health disorders is called the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, 5th edition, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So a person who's seeking psychotherapy by the therapist will diagnose, if you will, the person with some kind of mental disorder based on the information that's provided by the client. And through psychological methods such as cognitive behavioral therapy, what we call talk therapy, solution-focused brief therapy, EMDR, which is for trauma and other conditions, that the goal of the psychotherapy is to help the person to change their behavior, to overcome life problems, to have a happier and healthier life, to mitigate some of the beliefs and compulsions and feelings, troublesome feelings and emotions, to improve relationships, social skills, and coping skills. So there's a lot entailed with the counseling or with the psychotherapy aspect. Counseling oftentimes is defined as help giving. And it is professional guidance. It could be provided by a person with a license or maybe a person who's certified, specially trained in counseling. And some examples of counseling are stress management counseling, grief and loss counseling, school counseling, couples counseling, career counseling, substance abuse and addictions counseling, and financial debt counseling. But depending on the state where you work, some of the aspects of counseling may require a license or special certification or not. It just depends. So I would say the distinction is counseling, help giving, and with the psychotherapy, healing and health restoration. I would say that would be a good definition.
Absolutely awesome. And thank you so much for expounding on that psychotherapy part of that. And one of the things I saw that you had here, a comment was talk therapy and just a conversation with someone when dealing with coping with trauma, death is more and more is so helpful. Mindfulness helped as well with trauma and grief, and that is absolutely awesome. And we need to do that and communicate. That's communicating, and we've gotten in such a way of, especially like texting and all, that has just totally taken over. Emailing, and that can be so misunderstood in conversation and trying when you're texting and emailing and trying to create a point or have a conversation, but that is just so the norm now. It's text, and not a lot of phone conversation and really communicating. And so talk about some signs of narcissistic abuse.
Okay, all right. Before I mention on that, I just wanted to wrap up the psychotherapy and counseling aspect in terms of some tools and some readily available tools, coping strategies, anger management, journaling, spiritual or reflective journaling, humor therapy, time management, money management, and some relaxation techniques as well. Diaphragmatic breathing, inhale, exhale, release slowly, massage therapy, meditation and mindfulness, music therapy, progressive muscle relaxation, and nutrition and physical exercise, and eco therapy, which is having to do with communing with nature. So that is important parts of the counseling and psychotherapy aspect. But to address your question, Jafora, regarding narcissistic abuse, here lately, everybody talking about narcissistic abuse because we're seeing a lot of that in movies and TV and on blogs. And social media, and so forth and so on. But the quick and short definition of what narcissistic abuse is emotional, physical, financial, or other maltreatment inflicted by a person onto other people. And the spectrum of this could be mild, moderate, or severe. On the severe end, it could manifest itself in terms of life-threatening violence. The persons who are narcissistically, let's say, have a narcissistic personality disorder, and on the severe end of the spectrum, oftentimes also have sociopathic or antisocial personality disorder, which many criminals have. And so on the severe end, you have this person who's just so self-absorbed and what have you, but they also have criminal tendencies. That is really, really problematic. But some of the signs that we see with the person with the narcissistic behaviors are excessive self-love, lack of empathy, that's a big one, grandiosity, the need for admiration, very charismatic, maybe very attractive and what have you, and that's kind of like a drawing card. They have difficulties with attachment and dependency. They're very insecure. That's a big one too, very insecure. If they had a t-shirt, it would say insecure on the back and on the front. Feelings of emptiness or boredom, so they try to fill their lives with stuff because they get easily bored or feel their life is empty. Vulnerability to life transition, so they don't transition well with different life stages. Identity disturbance, risk for self-harm because they can get to a low point. They call it narcissistic collapse. They lose all their friends because they burned out everybody and they made everybody upset with them. They don't have no friends. And so they might be at risk for suicidal ideation. And then superficial and exploitative relationships. There's an acronym that I made up, which is called MICED, M-I-C-E-D. It's not a word, but it's an acronym. It helps me remember stuff. And so the acronym MICE stands for, with the narcissist, evidence of manipulation, intimidation, control, exploitation, and deceit. So if you find those traits in big quantities with certain people, I would say socially distance yourself from them and keep it moving, and because that could be hazardous for your health. In relationships with a person who has these tendencies, they tend in the beginning, it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde thing, love bombing. So there's very romantic, hearts and flowers all the time and taking trips and spending big money and stuff like that. And then they get into the other side, the dark side of gaslighting. That's emotional abuse. Could be issues of infidelity in relationships, incompatibility, what they call the irreconcilable differences. And then when you decide you don't want to deal with them anymore, then they be hovering or hovering around, looking to see what you're doing and what have you, maybe even stalking you and what have you. So the recommendation is no contact. Or if you have to be, let's say, in the same house with that person, you kind of like go like superficial, superficially social. But you have to be watching your back because some stuff could be going on behind you that you need to know about for your own self-protection or for the protection of your kids and for your loved ones. So this narcissistic abuse is really being talked about a whole bunch here lately because so many of us, sad to say, are so self-absorbed. We're looking for likes and what have you on the social media, and we think that we're all that in a bag of chips, and it should not be about us. It should all be about God and serving God's people. But people are caught up in self, or what I would call the 3 S's, which is self, sin, and Satan. So we got to be mindful about that. It's a real deal. It's a serious problem. Thank you.
I definitely have to agree again with you on that narcissistic behavior it can be very, very dangerous. And because of the manipulation that comes along with it, it is, traumatic. I see it all the time in so many different aspects, and it's not just the world, it's the Christian, the kingdom, it's just people that are operating in such a manner. And, it's just you just need to be mindful of that. And, definitely your acronyms, the MICE and the SSS, I'm definitely good with that. Acronyms definitely help you to be able to remember stuff. So I can totally agree with what that looks like. That self, sin, and Satan, truly so true. We are people so self-absorbed. It's all about me and selfish, and what about me? And so truly, we have to, I think it's more about communication and talking about things more and getting things out there and letting people recognize and see, because people are dealing with things that they don't really know or can put something to it. And they don't really understand like how dangerous and how that can really affect you being in such relationships that are, have those types of behaviors with it. And one of the other questions I wanted to ask about, I saw as well, was talk about some social rules. And I just picked a couple, two which I thought was just so profound. It's never give advice until you're asked. And the other one is mind your business unless anything involves you directly. Just stay out of it. And you definitely had some more social rules as well that I just thought was very, very powerful and key that we should just keep in the back of our minds in doing that. So just take a few moments just to expound a bit about those two things there.
I would say on those two things, what comes to mind for me is the saying, do no harm. Do no harm. Do no harm to self, others, or property. And also think about, if you're going to say something, a good way of thinking about is, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said right now? So you take the time out and think on those questions, as well as thinking about, again, do no harm. And there's another set of questions I wanted to share, which I'm blocking on right now. But I think just in general, taking a time out and not saying something in haste helps to not damage relationships. And we don't want to damage relationships because they're so precious right now, especially right now. So we don't want to do anything that's going to do harm to relationships. But think about the fact that unsolicited advice usually doesn't go over very well. So why go there if you can avoid it? Or if it seems like it's a complex thing and it may be a mental health thing, then you redirect the person to resources, mental health resources, or other resources that's more appropriate. Because sometimes, especially in families, you want to the best that you can do it, try to keep boundaries in relationships. Because sometimes once you say stuff and it's out there, it can damage a relationship for weeks, months, years, especially in families. And that could be really problematic. So you want to be a mindful speaker. And so ask yourself the question, does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said at all? Does it need to be said right now? And so think on those things so you can retain relationships and stay out of trouble. And let grown folks be grown folks. Because sometimes people have to go to school of hard knocks to learn stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that is very, very key. Have my notes, you want to be a mindful speaker, definitely do think before you speak, knowing that as Stephanie has mentioned that, the tongue can be very dangerous. And saying something, and once you say it, you can't take it back, and thinking about, if I say this, is it going to hurt someone's feelings, and so when we are self-absorbed, we don't really think about what the effect is going to be on someone else because we're just so about ourselves. But when you really come from a place of, caring about and creating fostering good relationships, you don't want to say things that rightfully might be true, rightfully so, but really, is that going to be beneficial, for the relationship in saying that? And so I think that is very, very key to just really think about it and be a mindful speaker. And so I tell you, Reverend Dr. Pam, you have provided some amazing information on tonight that really just is a part of my passion, my heart, my love. I can just sit and listen to all of this all day long because it is so helpful and it is so the information is powerful because it really helps you to be able to live, as you talked about again. I can't get away from that. You're a blessed life. You know, creating and fostering good relationships with others is really, really key. And as you have said, and you know, so many people, 600, the last I saw, had died, 600,000 people, you know, and so, gosh, if that hasn't made you think to be doing something different, and if you were doing some things in one way to strive to do better, to be better, you know, I'm not sure what else could happen to wake you up to want to be able to operate in a place to do different, but also in your passions. If you desire to want to do something, don't wait. You know, don't keep putting things off, and don't keep saying, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, as if you have so much time to really, really do it. So again, thank you so much. I'm so honored and so excited to have you as a guest on the Dr. Jafora. Oh, all right. I'm just
Dr.
That
was a prophetic word.
Yeah. On the Jafora Fox Show. So thank you again. God bless you. God bless you. And we're going to get started now with the Wheel of Names. So if you have shared, and to each of you all, thank you so much for you taking out the time to be a part of the Jafora Fox Show. It is greatly, greatly appreciated, you all. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with the Wheel of Names. If you put shared in the comments, your name is on the wheel. Congratulations, Stephanie. Congratulations. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much for your support and sharing and watching the Jafora Fox Show each week. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Evelyn. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll do one more Wheel of Names. So we'll just draw one more time, please. Congratulations, Asia. So if you are a winner of what you'll receive is a t-shirt from Reverend Dr. Pamela Fox. So that's the t-shirt there, as you all, inspiring you to reach your full potential. So congratulations to you all. Please connect with me. You can inbox me your t-shirt size and your address so that I can pass that information on to Reverend Dr. Pam Fox. So make sure you get the information to me, and congratulations to each and every one of you all. And thank you all so much again for tuning in and being a part of the Jafora Fox Show. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And so stay tuned. I'm so excited to announce that on next Thursday, there will not be a Jafora Fox Show next Thursday because as I've said, I'm excited about going on vacation, you all. And so it will resume on July the 1st. So it will be July the 1st, so not next Thursday, so the following Thursday, July 1st. Stay tuned for, again, the Jafora Fox Show. So excited. And I'm going to say we're going to be celebrating our anniversary, Reverend Dr. Pam, and I know you guys will be celebrating your anniversary on Tuesday. Our anniversary is on Thursday, so happy anniversary in advance to you and Kevin. So happy anniversary to you all. So thank you all so much. Again, there's Dr. Pam's information. So if you want to get in contact, even if you're watching the replay or you're watching now, you can go back and get this information as well. So God bless you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Continue to stay safe and continue to pray for one another. And God bless you. God bless you all, and have a great night. God bless.
Jafora Fox, let's talk business. And let's turn it up a notch. It's your time to shine with Jafora Fox. It's all coming together. Just keep your eyes on God and tune in, and let's talk with Jafora.